Thank you, NHS, for everything that you're doing. Thank you.
I just wanted to quickly say a massive thank you to the NHS. You guys are incredible. Thank you so much. Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Daily Footy and Other Sports with yours truly, Taz, and of course, Sean over there. There he is, Sean, our sheep. Today we're going to give you a very quick roundup of what's been going on in the last couple of days, actually, because obviously we had a double header with our brilliant guest, Aatif Nawaz. Thank you so much again, Aatif, for joining us for that call or two. But no, I mean, in the last couple of days, actually, we weren't able to update you on a couple of things. Unfortunately, some of them are quite sad. First and foremost, we had Sir Stirling Moss, who sadly passed away from the F1 world. He's very much known as maybe the greatest ever F1 driver, never to have won a world title. And it's fitting, actually. I mean, that makes sense to me because there weren't many drivers, who've been around a very long time that I heard about when I was younger. Senna was one of the main ones I heard about. Stirling Moss was one of the ones I heard about. And, you automatically think, has this guy won a title? Unfortunately, he didn't. Jackie Stewart, Damon Hill, these guys. But I didn't really hear about too many of the older guys. So he was one of the main ones. We've sadly lost him. In addition to him, we sadly also lost a World Cup 1966 legend. I guess some of the younger viewers may not know him as well. I think most of them would know our keeper, but it's Peter Bonetti. I think most people tend to remember the starters, and even though Sir Geoff Hurst wasn't actually supposed to be a starter, he became a starter in the final, didn't he? And my word, did he make it count? But Peter Bonetti, part of that team, he'll always be part of something very special. And still to this day, one of the very few members of a World Cup winning team, because we have only won it once. But we do have a bit of good news. Sorry, I forgot to add as well. I mean, with everything that's been going on recently, a lot of these sad passings have coincided with what's been going on in the current climate, with the illness we don't really want to speak about. But as far as we're aware, they were sadly lost to natural causes. And I'd like to think they both lived long and fruitful lives. But we did have some good news in the last 24 hours or so, and that was Kenny Dalglish. Has come out of hospital, and his daughter, some of you may know as it's Kelly, isn't it? Kelly Cates? Because her married name. You'll know her from Sky Sports. But, she said the patio needs some cleaning. So, I'm sure he's keen on being up and about and being involved with that. That just sounds like something he would say as well. So, she's being really well humoured about it. But, I know some of these, I know someone like Stirling Moss isn't really a name you're familiar with as much, but sad when you lose legends, really, isn't it, in a certain sport? I'm sorry about that doom and gloom to start off, guys, but I think it's appropriate that we
ended well. You ended well with the Dalglish talk.
Yeah,
I
know. But I think sometimes it's unavoidable you can't just ignore certain figures and legends in their respective sports, and I think it's right that we acknowledge them. Incredible people. They will be missed. But of course, we we have been seeing a couple of topics appearing in the last 24 hours in particular. What have we starting with? What are we starting with? Oh yeah, literally top story actually in most tabloids at the moment is potentially the takeover of Newcastle United reigniting again. I'm going to pass over to the Borough fan to discuss this because I'm sure he'll love it. Go.
So that's actually a really good question to ask. Before I answer that, you have to understand that Mike Ashley and Newcastle have had a very weak relationship. He took over a guy, Mr. Shepherd, and he promised them great things. It's a good ending to where Newcastle have wanted a new ownership. Mike Ashley was determined to get as much money as possible. And as early as January, it seemed like one of the princes of Saudi Arabia was going to take over. And it seems like he's had a collaboration with Amanda Staveley. This news has just broken early today on Tuesday. Public House has reported it, and they've announced that Mike Ashley has agreed on a figure of £300 million. And we can regurgitate information that everybody's aware of already. It's just fantastic.
You say that it died down. It did die down. I mean, I think the one thing is if it was like a Man City, Liverpool, or United, Man U takeover bid, then I suspect they wouldn't have shut up about it. But it died down a bit, didn't it? Because Staveley was involved with it in 2017, and then she sort of faded away, and then these Saudi guys turned up. And then they sort of maybe combining, I think Ashley wanted 340 million, and I think they may have settled on 300.
Yeah. So like the whole pandemic has cost Newcastle lose 40 million. And the reason why the Amanda Staveley deal failed in 2017 was because Newcastle were under threat of getting relegated, and they could not agree on a fee or package of taking away of the deal in the first place, or reducing how much Mike Ashley would receive, because we all know that he's a crafty man. He wanted to keep Sports Direct open when all businesses were closed. So it is a good deal for everyone. Yeah, it's crazy. It's a good deal for everyone involved. And it's interesting you mentioned your club, because we're here, we all like sports. Man United always are involved in the sports scene because the owners of Saudi Arabia, the prince, and one of the princes of Saudi Arabia, who love sports. That's why they got wrestling there, had Anthony Joshua there beforehand. They wanted Man United. They could not get Man United, so they went for the next best thing, which is Newcastle.
Yeah, they got halfway there. They got United, if it happens, of course. I think, in a weird way, I'm kind of jealous because for the first time in 7 or 8 years, I'm seeing a manager who's trying to buy the right way, but he needs the backing from the owners. And we've just had shady owners and Ed Woodward at the helm, and you can't do anything like that. If you get different pieces of the puzzle in place, then you can actually go somewhere. But we'll move on. What was next? Oh yeah, Bournemouth joining the party. Sean wanted me to say that. Yeah, he was desperate for me to use that. As I'm sure a lot of you guys are aware, Liverpool, among a few other clubs, rather idiotically, from the Premier League as well, it's idiotic for me, got put a furlough in place with their staff, and then very quickly did the U-turn. Spurs became the second team in the Premier League to do the same, and now Bournemouth have also joined them. Can we forgive Bournemouth more than the other two for doing it and then taking this long to change their mind, or should we be harsh on them as well?
We've had a very good conversation about when Liverpool had to do the U-turn, and we spoke about different teams having different financial powers, financial strength. Bournemouth has been in the Premiership for a while. They're able to sign a Colombian World Cup player for over 25 million Lerma. So they do have financial power, but they do not have the same amount of strength that the other teams have got. like Tottenham and Liverpool. And furthermore, we have to even mention it could have been a lot of involvement of the playing staff, because that's what happened at Tottenham. Could be the same thing at Bournemouth. So we could have to. There's a lot of people hating on footballers being overpaid sportsmen. That's their stereotype. We have to also say the opposite side of the matter, that a lot of players do care for trying to help the whole society.
Absolutely. They're willingly actually doing what they can. And they don't need you to strip them of their salary, generally speaking, without really letting them decide, because I don't get the impression that these guys sort of given the decision, a choice or a vote or something like that. I just suspect, the staff members were just told, well, sorry guys, we're furloughing. And that's not how it should be. It should be a combined decision. It should be something that's notified to the people. It should be something that they agree to. And if they don't agree with it, you want to do what you can to make it comfortable for them. They're like family. You're a club. It's certainly in football terms and sports terms, you're one big family. So you've got to look out for each other. I guess we can slightly forgive Bournemouth, but they still get enough, I guess. It's a funny one. I mean, I think Spurs and Liverpool, unforgivable behaviour, without question. Nobody in that top, well, I say top 5 or 6, but you know what I mean, the top 6 normal teams, the ones that usually occupy those spots, should not be. And if you want to chuck in Leicester as well, they have got some financial clout, and they are they are a well-known, established side now, and they earned the right to be called that. And they're a Premier League winner more recently than United. But no, I mean, nobody in that top.
No, when you speak about Leicester, great story when they won the title, but when they won the title, the late owner, may he rest in peace, he awarded each player with a brand new expensive car. So we're talking about playing staff and a club that has got a lot of financial strength compared to a side like Bournemouth.
Absolutely.
Bournemouth has been there for a while.
Well, of course, I mean, they would have gained, many a bonus for probably their points tally. They would have certainly gained a bonus for winning the league, and that's even before the owners, chipped in. So,
and I think you said it perfectly. We're not saying that they're totally forgiven, because, as you said, we're just saying they're probably more culpable of being slightly more forgiven. And you can look at when you watch documentaries of footballers, this is not going off tangent, we're just talking about the fact that these are family-based clubs. Gerrard, he goes back to Liverpool whilst as a Rangers manager. He is adored by everyone in the cafeteria, and everyone greets him and he knows them. That happens at every club. So as you correctly
Wazza still does it. Beck still does it, but coming back to United. And I think.
Yeah. We've got a friend in our one WhatsApp group, me and Taz regularly talking. We've got a friend who works was studying medicine up in Liverpool in Kiel, and he worked at Stoke. And while he worked at Stoke, he freely was every player in the cafeteria, was part of the bench, and you can see that everyone. It's not a high school situation where footballers only stay amongst themselves and non-playing staff sit at another table. Everyone is free to mingle with each other. And this is what Taz was alluding to.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, players might have a bigger status. That does not make them a better person than a caretaker or a cleaner or someone like that. You still got to respect and treat everybody the same way. I don't care if you're an owner, you'll get the respect because of your position, but that doesn't give you the right to treat someone like dirt. And it almost felt like all these furloughs were doing just that. And it left a real bitter taste in the mouth. Like I said, I mean, I can slightly forgive Bournemouth to an extent. They are a side who you can clearly see, even before the season started, was going to be in the relegation battle. And, when you're talking about record signings these days, you're talking far, far beyond, 50, 60, 70, 80, 100 million. And I think Bournemouth's Lerma, I think you said he was a record signing. He must have been about, what, 20 to 30 or something, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
So it just gives you a very, very, clear indication that, they're about 50 to 60 million apart from what United record signing is. And we've got to understand that, it's not as easy for them to be able to handle the financial weight of what's going on than Spurs and Liverpool, which is why I'm really disappointed what those two have done. I know Newcastle's actually in that, isn't it? They're in that mix. I don't know whether they're going to change their mind. It's possible they might actually if this takeover happens. I haven't even pondered that. But no, we need to move on.
Okay. I was going to say something to support your point. Well, I just want to say well done for talking about Man U, the negative. Thank you.
Very quickly.
I was going to say,
1 minute.
Thank you. So it's just like your point that Man U is a superior financial team compared to Bournemouth. The latest transfer rumour is that Liverpool are linked with a player worth £250 million, and they were going to spend an extra 100 million from the potential sale of Mane going to Real Madrid for 150 million. So as you correctly say, Liverpool are a team with a lot of money, and they were going to save that money for a player, a single footballing player, no matter how big he is or how much of a status he is. We're talking about lives that were going to be neglected if the furlough scheme went ahead.
For starters, I'd like to say that I don't really think that signing's going to happen because there's a part of me that just thinks, I don't know why would Mbappe go to Liverpool? I know you're talking about him. Secondly, they're clearly prioritising Werner, if anyone, and he'd be a quarter of the price, maybe a third if you want to stretch it. So if they're going to sell one of their front three, which is what I said is going to be the only way that it made sense for Werner to come in, why are they going to why are they going to overspend? What I'll say about them is they've been charged a lot for some of these players, but they knew they had a priority position and they had to just cough up whatever was being asked of them, which is why they've got Van Dijk for what is still, for me, a silly figure, but it's paid off. Alisson, silly figure, it's paid off. Werner, they don't need him. They might need him if they lose one of their front three, though. So, but yeah, this isn't a transfer show, so we can't talk about that. One more topic I think we had, wasn't it? And that was it's quite an amusing one, really. Your mate SOUNESS and our good old mate POGBA having a bit of scuffle, fisticuffs. I don't even know what to make of it, to be honest with you. Didn't POGBA say, I don't even know who this guy is?
Yeah. How do you feel about it? I have to ask you because you're a Man United fan. SOUNESS is obviously a villain to all to Man United fans, sorry. And in addition, so is POGBA. So what is your perspective?
Well, I you know what? I mean, the thing is, when you end your career, I've got to judge you on what you do when you're doing, like I've said with Carragher, I think he's improved as a pundit, and I think it's actually been helpful being around Neville because I think a lot of people have been applauding him of the two of them, and I think it's actually starting to rub off. So I've seen good things, but I also said, on the flip side, after what he did, he probably shouldn't still be in that job. So he's very lucky to be in that job. SOUNESS, as I've always found, is a derogatory, chauvinistic, quite sexist pundit, and it's on TV for everyone to see. The way he treated Alex Scott was so disrespectful. It was unbelievable. So I can't really take his punditry, if we want to call him that, very seriously at all. I suspect POGBA is just trying to wind him up by saying, I don't know who he is. But I don't know. I just can't. I don't have time for him, to be honest.
It's what it is like, whether you like SOUNESS' punditry or not, it's like every opportunity he's given a chance to criticize POGBA. But it's interesting because
he goes further than Roy Keane does, and that's what puzzles me. Roy Keane says like, I don't really care what he's saying. I don't believe him. Boom. That's it. I've made my point. I'm moving on. SOUNESS just keeps on trying to start a scuffle like a little baby. I mean, I don't understand what's going on.
It's hilarious. Even like on there was a football meme joke during Valentine's Day, and it was there was one for SOUNESS. It was always his obsession with Paul Pogba. Well, I'm going to put it to the flip side. I like Paul Pogba, but I like SOUNESS as well. He has a point that
I still don't understand why, but yes, each to their own.
Yeah, he hasn't had his potential, but it's interesting. He only picks on certain midfielders. Yeah, it was the same thing with Yaya Toure, but he's always acknowledges that these midfielders can do a lot more. But I would also say Paul Pogba's defense. He's not been part of a very good team. If he was part of a better team, he would perform a lot better. That's why me and you privately have always discussed.
Yeah, but nobody's saying that Pogba couldn't do more, and nobody's saying that he's been brilliant at United. Quite the opposite. He's shown more frequent glimpses, if you want to call it glimpses, rather than, well, he's had decent spells. Certainly when you compare him to someone like Sanchez, who's had like 3 moments or something in his whole career. There's so few that you can probably just pick them out. Against Man City away, FA Cup semi-final, brilliant header. That's all I can think of, actually. Just 2. But no, I mean, we know how good he is. We know how good Sanchez is, to be fair, but we also know that Sanchez is always sort of on the decline, or at least age-wise, he was sort of, heading that way. Pogba's a good age. We know what he's capable of, and he's a World Cup winner, for goodness sake. So we can't just sit here and go, well, this guy's a joke. It's not like he just dragged his feet at the World Cup. He made a massive contribution.
He led them. He led them. He was an extraordinary player.
He's brilliant in the middle. Him and Kante. Kante's wonderful to watch because he gives everyone the freedom to actually sort of roam, and that's exactly what Pogba's good at. He's not really a central midfielder as such. He considers himself to be a box-to-box midfielder, maybe, but he's not really defensive-minded enough to be a box-to-box. So he's sort of in between a central midfield and a cam. Bruno, I'd say, is more of a cam, but he's got the ability to be a central midfielder, and he's got the battling style to have that defensive mind as well. But I still wouldn't call him a CDM. Like first game against Wolves, he was put in a CDM role effectively, and it just was like, what are you doing? Let this guy roam free. And the results have validated what most fans have been saying about him for months. So
you bring another good point right there when we're talking about why maybe SOUNESS is obsessive, because now Pogba, you always question Pogba's dedication. You wanted to talk about Pogba's recent comments about wanting to return, or did we already speak about that in another episode?
We mentioned it a couple of episodes ago when he was basically saying he's hungry to play again, and we sort of questioned whether it was him sort of saying, I really want to play football for this club, or whether it's just I want to play football but I still want to move. I think there are a lot of people that say, how juicy a thought is it, seeing Pogba and Bruno. As much as I like Grealish, I'd still rather see Pogba and Bruno. But has he burned too many bridges? Has he made his mind up already and wanted to leave? So we don't know.
I have to bring up this very important point. I really have to. We just spoke about this 2 weeks ago, and do you think it's already happening? Before this whole pandemic, the decision that every fan wanted was get rid of Pogba and bring Jack Grealish. Now, during this pandemic, we've got one player who looks dedicated to the sport and another player that cannot follow simple rules. Does it show how extraordinary just a few weeks can have in the world of football? Just even with your statement just there.
I think Pogba's always been this kind of like, am I here or am I not here, though? He's been maybe threatening to go, or he probably should have gone last summer, most people believe. And it didn't happen. So I think it might just be player based, but obviously we're not going to defend Grealish. What he did was utterly idiotic. So, but yeah. So I mean, I think it's a good point to end as well. But yeah, we crammed a lot in. Well, we did and we didn't. But
we can always do more.
Yeah, we can always do more, but we don't want to just chuck everything at you. And typically, the one time we want to throw everything at you, the next day is going to have absolutely nothing for us to talk about. So, yeah, we just try to pick a couple of decent topics of things that we've heard about. But I think on that note, guys, we are gonna leave you for the moment. Again, I really hope you guys enjoyed the live chat we had with Aatif the last couple of days. If you haven't checked it out already, make sure you do. Don't forget, of course, to comment both in that video and, of course, in this one. Don't forget to like it as well. And, of course, no, wrong way. There we go. Don't forget to subscribe. I'm doing a Sean. Yeah, don't forget to subscribe as well. And we will see you in the next video. Okay, guys.